What's up guys, welcome to Daily Refinement. In today's video, I'm going to give you 10 tips on how to go from 0 to 10 sales a day. So it looks like a lot of people in the audience have been finding success selling stuff around the house, or they're beginning to start looking at places like thrift stores or flea markets to find items to resell, and they're starting to sell a few items. So they're wondering what to do next. So in this video, the 10 tips that I give you will help you start to get more predictable and more consistent sales. So that number one, you can be taken a little bit more seriously by friends and family. And number two, you can start creating more of a business. And I define business as in something that can sustain you and it can be your primary source of income. Although technically, if you sell one item for a profit, you are a business. So I appreciate you guys. Please smash the like button, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys inside. Number one is become an authority in whatever your niche is. So in this video, we're talking about going from 0 sales a day or just starting, getting to 10 sales a day where you're building some momentum. You'll see people who already know a category, like let's say they collect baseball cards or they're an avid golfer. You would already know what kind of golf equipment to buy. You'd already know what kind of sports cards to sell if you already collect that type of item. So for people who are just starting and don't have a specific niche, or they don't collect anything, or they're not an expert or an authority in any type of item, what I would recommend is you either dive completely into something like jeans. You look for every single brand, every single size, every single color, shape, style. Look at everything and figure out what's best, and then you go out and find the jeans. Or you could do it the other way, where you look at what's available in your area. Let's say you live near a lot of golf courses, or you're near a lake and there's a lot of fishing, or you're near a boating area and there's a lot of boating equipment. Whatever is in your area, your unfair advantage for sourcing, I would approach it that way and become an authority geographically. There's a lot of people who, because of their job or because of where they live, they stumble into reselling, figuring out a way they can get a plug on some certain type of inventory. And those are the most common ways to become an authority. Either you really like something and get super into it, and you can do that from anywhere in the world, or just geographically you are near something that you get into. And that's why most people marry someone that they've met that lives within like 10 miles of where they are. Just because proximity is really a key driver for relationships, but also some people know exactly what they're looking for, and they might find somebody on the other side of the world, but they know what they're looking for and they have a very specific thing that they're looking for or going for. And that makes it easier to find that thing anywhere in the world. So don't be discouraged if you live in an area that doesn't have a specific thing that you're looking for. If you're into that niche enough, you can get all that inventory to come to you. And don't be afraid to look around in your local area and just find something that's local to your area that you have a special discount on. Okay, so number two is develop consistency. This is going to be in all areas of your life. But if you want 10 sales a day, you're going to have to list at least 10 sales a day. So developing consistency is just taking things slowly, learning about what your schedule looks like, what things are you responsible for in your daily life, and just think to yourself, you know what, I'm a 10 sales a day person, and you are what you repeatedly do. So if you list one box of items every single day and it's 10 items, and you do that over and over and over again, you will become more consistent. And that's the most powerful thing that you can do, is just get used to showing up. That's most of the battle, because if you list 10 items every single day and you're doing the work to figure out what people are looking for, what the pricing should be, what type of item you're selling, you'll slowly develop the skills to be able to do anything. Honestly, reselling is more difficult than other things that you can do, like let's say brushing your teeth or making breakfast. You're already used to those things. What you need to do is make your eBay habit part of your routine. Once it becomes a habit, once it becomes something that you normally do, it becomes part of your identity. And being consistent is the most powerful thing you can do in any niche, in any industry, especially reselling, because eBay will reward you if you consistently list. And in my experience, it's never taken longer than 1 week to turn a store on that was turned off from inconsistent listing. You list consistently for a week, eBay will forgive you and your store will be turned back on. The only exception to this rule would be you listing random items that nobody wants. In that scenario, no matter how much listing you do, eBay will never turn your store back on, because you're listing things that people don't want and you're clogging up eBay's servers. So don't list things people don't want. Be consistent with one listing a day if you can't find 10. Don't list 9 random things that will never sell. List one good item at a minimum every day that will sell, and that'll get you on the track for building consistency, which is bar none, the most important part of eBay. Number 3 is be precise with details. If you know exactly how much money you're making per hour, every single person will take you seriously, because that's what a job does. When you sign up to work for somebody else, they tell you how much money you're going to make per hour, the benefits package, whether or not you get health insurance, and you know how long you have to work there. Nobody would sign up for a job that they don't know what they're getting paid and they don't know how long they're going to work there. If you run a resale business and you don't know how much you're making per hour, no one can really take you seriously, so you need to be precise. How much do things cost? How much are you paying in rent? If you're doing it from home and not paying rent, you need to know how much space in your place of residence that is taking up, because you can let your significant other know, I need 1 bedroom to run my business. I need between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. in the morning. I spend $36 a day on goods. I sell for $200 a day. I spend $80 a day on shipping. I know exactly what my costs are, and this is how much I make per hour. This is what we deposit in the bank. You're welcome. You will have no issues impressing people if you know exactly what your numbers are. Even if you only sell 2 items a day, it's very fascinating to talk to somebody who knows the exact value of what they do. So if you don't know how much you're making per hour, it's going to make your self-confidence drop. So over time, as you learn how to do reselling, be precise and accurate with your numbers. Be honest with yourself. How much money are you making? How much time are you really spending on it? And I think a lot of people use reselling kind of as a crutch to not do other things, like, oh, I run a small business, so I don't have time to meet with friends. I don't have time to be healthy. I don't have time to exercise. And newsflash, you can do all of it. Unfortunately, I've already proven that you can do 10 listings in under an hour. Everything, shipping, listing, posting, only took me 41 minutes. So that leaves you 23 other hours in the day to do exactly what you want. So being precise, being accurate will really allow you to really open your mind and figure out, is this even worth it for you or not? And it's the key from going from 0 to 10 listings a day, because I don't want to take all day to do 10 listings. I want 10 listings to only take me 41 minutes. And my colleague Tech and Sports, shout out to him, only takes him 30 minutes. So understanding that it doesn't need to take all day and being precise with how long it takes is really going to help you get to that next level. Tip number 4 is take the emotion out of selling. So when you are a seller, you want to add as much emotion as you can to the listing to get somebody to make a buying decision. When they're more emotional, people will end up spending more money. So as an example, this is a pair of Scottie Pippens. And if you're a Scottie Pippen fan, you would pay more money than this pair of Air Force Ones, which does not have an athlete endorsing it. So anytime you can connect something to nostalgia, connect something to a person, make it more human, you're going to increase the value. But if you do that in your business, if you become emotional about a process, emotional about your photography or your listing process, it will actually slow you down. Emotion definitely has a place as a reseller, but what you should do is put that emotion into your listings. Take quality photos, make a really good title so people can find your items. When you do a really good job of putting the emotion into your items and taking it out of your processes, it's going to make your day a lot easier, because when something goes wrong, and I have news for everyone, stuff will go wrong constantly when you're running your own business. You won't worry about it. You'll just take it at face value, take it objectively. You know what, my printer doesn't work today. Do I have a backup? I don't have a backup. No problem. Let me go print at the library. Let me print the labels at the post office. Let me buy another printer. Let me make sure I have another printer that's a backup, so next time I don't have this problem. Don't run out of labels. Take the emotion completely out of it. And this is really, really, really useful, because it will allow you to stay level-headed throughout the day, and you really need that as an entrepreneur, because there's so many decisions that need to be made during the day, and you need a clear mind. Number 5 is pick a time of day to do everything the same time every day to make it a lot easier. So for me, I get here to the shop at 8:45 in the morning. I do all of my shipping, all of my customer service, and launch all of my drafts before Christine gets here at 10 a.m. So it's really easy for me to stay on track, because I take my daughter to daycare, childcare before this. So I take her at 8, sit in traffic for 45 minutes until I get here at 8:45. And because the schedule is the same Monday through Friday, it makes it a lot easier. If you know what time of day you are listing, you increase your chances of actually getting your listing done by 100-fold. It's much easier knowing that you have to get it done by a certain time and cutting it off. I'm literally done with eBay by 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you have all this stuff lined up and you pick a specific time of day, it's going to make it really easy to go from a beginner or hobby seller doing things whenever you like to listing 10 items consistently before 8 a.m. or before 6 a.m. like Bo in the group, gets all of his listings done before his kids wake up. So this is a really powerful way to get to the next level. Number 6 is to take it one day at a time. I can tell you from experience that when you're running your own business, when you're trying to take control of your own life, there are hundreds or thousands of little adjustments that you have to make. So everything takes a lot longer than you think to get it dialed in, to get it adjusted. So people are expecting to go from no knowledge of reselling to running a resale business in a week. And it takes several years, to be honest, to really understand all the different components, all the different pieces of running an online store. And all of these skills and traits that you're developing and learning about transfer to other parts of your life. As you become more organized in your business, you'll become more organized in running your household. You become more organized in helping your kids with their homework. You'll be more organized with how you plan routes to take people to school or with meal prep. All that comes with time. So most of the time when people are not good at something, they just haven't spent enough time working on it, and they don't schedule that time to routinely work on it. So if you were to work on reselling a couple of hours a day all year, cumulatively you've put in 730 hours in a year, just 2 hours a day, and that's going to help you get to your goal. But if you think about all of the success books, they talk about there's that 10,000 hour rule that people talk about. Well, at 2 hours a day, it would take you like 13, 14 years to put the work in to become an expert in whatever you're trying to do. So got to give yourself some grace. If you only have 2 hours a day to work on it, it's going to take you several years to get there, versus somebody who's working 18 hours a day, it's only going to take them 1 or 2 years to become an expert because they're all in, fully focused on one type of thing. So give yourself some grace. You'll see people out there crushing it or doing things that you think are amazing or extraordinary, but believe me, they're putting the work in. It's not something that's coming naturally, or it's usually not luck. It's usually people putting the work in. So be patient with yourself. Take it one day at a time. Number 7 is make everything your fault. So as an example, right now there's a little echo in the audio, and that's because we're standing in a doorway. That's echoey. So if everything is your fault, you can take the control back, and I can actually step out of this doorway where there's not as much echo. So if eBay is screwing up, or your partner is screwing up, or your kids are screwing up, or your boss is a jerk, it's still your fault. If you look at it that way, you'll feel a lot better, because you can always say, you know what, I don't need this job, find another job. You can say, I don't need my kids, get rid of your kids. Just kidding, you can't get rid of your kids, but as far as like trying to get the control back, making everything your fault, to me, is a beautiful way to live, because no one is the boss of you. You are the boss of every single thing that happens in your life. Even something that is not your fault, if you think of it as your fault, you just get the control back. As an example, if I went over a pothole and I ruined my tire, I wouldn't blame the pothole. I would just say, you know what, tomorrow I'm gonna take a different route home. Thinking about it that way really allows you to take control of whatever you're doing. It's really gonna boost your confidence, because playing the victim, some people are actually happy that bad things happen to you, so there's no reason in really sharing bad things that happen to you, because to be honest, some people are even happy that that happened to you. So if something bad happens to you, just take the loss, take it on the chin, and just move on. For me, I've taken so many L's in my life, I could write an encyclopedia on the things I've done that have resulted in a mistake. So I've taken all of those as experiences to learn from and to become a better person. So in becoming an entrepreneur, going from 0 to 10 is a big deal, and you will become a totally different person, maybe unrecognizable from where you were when you started this journey. Number 8 is be humble. There's really no benefit to being a know-it-all, and if you've been doing anything for a long time, you realize that there's very little you actually know. There's so many different scenarios and situations and products and situations that affect everything. There's a reason why something happens and a reason why it doesn't happen. If you're humble and always have a beginner's mindset, then you will always be learning, you'll always be improving, and that type of mentality lasts forever. Once you know everything, there really is maybe no point to even living, because everything just becomes boring. If you already know everything before it's even going to happen, then it leads for a very boring life. So if you're always learning, always trying to adjust, it makes for a much more wonderful experience building an online store, because being humble is where it's at. It's much easier not knowing everything, because then you just have an open mind for doing it the right way. I think a lot of people get hung up thinking there has to be one way to do it. Best photographs, best titles, but in reality it's different. Certain items require different types of photos. Certain items require different types of titles. certain items are priced differently than other items, even if they're the same brand, even if they're the same category, even if it's the exact same UPC code, there's going to be two different conditions. All these scenarios require more adjustments, more fine tuning, and being humble really helps with that. From doing this for a long time and meeting thousands of people, I know now for a fact that there's a lot more than any of us can learn in a lifetime about any niche. So that being said, because there's so much to learn, be humble and realize that you can't learn every category. I know that as a former squirrel brain, I know how destructive it is to try to learn 20, 30, 50 million things at the same time. So just learn one thing at a time, be humble, take a pill of humility. It'll be really, really useful. And honestly, being humble is great because people, when you're talking too much, trust me, I talk a lot of people think that you're full of crap. So if you just say a few things and they're really on point, if I only had 2 YouTube videos and they were just my best material, probably be more effective. So make sure that you're humble and you're really concise with your thoughts and opinions. To just build upon tip number 8, number 9 is your body language, and your actions definitely speak louder than words. So I don't think anybody out there can really knock my work ethic. I've been doing this for 5 years, a lot. I've made a lot of effort, a lot of mistakes. I've listed tens of thousands of things. You guys have watched me do this publicly, so can't knock my work ethic. So even though I do talk a lot, my body language, the amount that I've done, my surroundings, you guys can all see it happening, and sometimes that speaks louder than words. If honestly I stopped making videos at this point and you guys looked at my body of work so far making videos, you could see that I put in a tremendous amount of effort into trying to make this work. And if you guys have ever been here, I'm pretty much working nonstop the entire time I am at work. So your body language is huge. Carry yourself high. You're doing something that's much more difficult than just getting a job. When you work for yourself, it's everything. So tip number 10, and maybe the most important tip of this whole series, so please smash the like button and consider subscribing, is maybe it's time to upgrade your friend group. So that might sound kind of cold and ruthless, but maybe you've outgrown some of the people that are holding you back, and just find people who think that 10 listings a day is the very bottom of the rung. If you're hanging around people where 10 sales a day seems unrealistic, try hanging out in a group where 10,000 sales is normal. So if you upgrade your friend group, you're really going to realize that being around like-minded people upgrades all of your habits at the same time. So please join our Patreon at patreon.com/resourcepodcast. In there, we have over 2,000 people, all with the same goal of supporting themselves, reselling online with an online store. So I appreciate you guys. Until next time, make progress daily.